my good friend Kurt Mortensen in here. Kurt is teaching from the new class that we've created with Steve Gibson and his wife Betty. As you know, they are the co-founders of the Academy for Creative Enterprise. And the Academy for Creative Enterprise has 735 chapters all over the world. And those chapters, they do teach people about how to make money with their small businesses and how to create small businesses. And we love what they do. They do more face-to-face events. And so one of the things we want to do is we want to teach you some of the things from those courses and those classes. And then we would love to have you search them out. And if you can get involved in one of the Academy for Creative Enterprises classes in a face-to-face mode, that's even more ideal. But I know that sometimes people don't have access to them, so that's why we do what we do. I'm good friends with Steve Gibson. He's a wonderful man, he and his wife, Betty. And so we have taken his course and we're delivering it digitally. Also, you'll notice that when you go into the all courses that we've got the first 5 lessons there. And then as Kurt is teaching these lessons over the next few weeks, we're going to take those and we're going to add them to that course menu. And then eventually we're going to turn it into Earn While You Learn, so you can make a little bit of money just for going to that course. So if Kurt is in the house, why don't we shift over to Kurt and let him teach, and we're going to go into how to make more money with your small business. Take it away, Kurt, if you're here.
All right, welcome back. This is number 6, creating family prosperity. You've got this. You could do this. You've been doing the homework a little bit at a time. You've got this. You could do this. You've got plenty of people that are doing it. They don't have anything special. They're not smarter than you. They don't have different opportunities than you. You've got this. You could do this. This is number 6 in this series. We're going to focus on what must I do to make money in business. Because you're not in business for fun. It should be fun. You're not in business just to have a business. You're in the business to make money, to make a profit, to solve problems. That is the key. That is the issue. That's what we're going to get into. So we're diving into lesson 6 here. Hopefully that printed out or on your phone. We're starting on page 31 in your materials as we go through this. So these are the questions we'll be talking about today. How does a person earn money in business? I mean, that's pretty important. What basic activities should I do again and again to make money? Because really, once you've learned how to do this, duplicate, replicate, duplicate, again and again, get bigger, get bigger, get bigger. Third one, what can I do to reduce the chance of losing what little money I have? And what can I buy on credit and sell for cash in my neighborhood? Those are big picture things we'll be talking about today. Some main points. We're talking about practice separate entities. We're talking about pay yourself a livable salary, be nice later, buy low, sell high, use multiple suppliers, turn your inventory often, buy on credit, sell on cash, and don't eat your inventory. They might sound like they're basic, but these are important principles to make more money. Just a little bit, but every one of these principles that you apply, that you use, that you understand, that's a little bit more money. Another 1% here, another 10% here, another 20% here, another 2% here. It adds up as profit. And that's the key, is to have a profitable business and make money. So let's go to the new words. We're going to talk about entity. Anything has a distinct, separate existence, such as a business. There's inventory. That's the merchandise that a business buys from a supplier, makes itself, and then sells to the customers. And then credit's a contractual agreement in which a business owner, the borrower, receives something of value now. It's usually merchandise, could be services, and agrees to repay the lender at some later date. As you use credit, you're basically using other people's money to earn money. And we see that in real estate, we see that in business, we see that in life, where you can leverage, it's called OPM, other people's money to your business. Now, why would they do that? Because it helps their business. It's moving their merchandise. It's usually a win-win for both parties when it's done the right way. All right? So let's dive into the bottom of page 31 there, practice separate entities. You must think of your business and your family as being totally separate from each other. This means that you must keep the money from the business separate from your personal money. No family members, no neighbors, friends, or employees should ever have access to your cash or your goods without paying for them. This is a difficult rule to enforce, but remember that in order for you to be what you want to be, prosperous, you must adopt new habits. Learn how to keep personal money and business money separate, and you will reap the rewards. And you might have to teach your family and friends the same lesson. Say, look, there's no money, but you do this, you do that. Well, in our family bank account, there's no money. That's not what happens with a business. Just like my kids. Yeah, just swipe the card. There's money there. No, there's no money. No, you swipe the card. You have to educate them. There has to be money in there to swipe the card or give it out. It's not that you're being mean. You can say, look, I don't do this to everybody. Here's the rule. There's family money. Maybe you want to loan it out. Maybe you don't. But business money is business money. Family money is family money. They are separate, distinct. When you intermingle those, you start loaning money to family and friends, and you start doing well a little bit, you have to set the guidelines now. Otherwise, there'll be big problems, well, now and in the future. All right? But if you look at top of page 32, while recognizing the importance of practicing separate entities, please remember that at some point you must start taking money out of the business for your personal use. That's okay, as long as you're going easy here. Because think about it. If you're never taking money out of your business to help your family, then what good is to build up money in the business? But even when you start taking out money for your own use, you still don't want other people taking money or goods from the business. What are some guidelines, some do's and don'ts? You can guide your habits concerning taking money or goods from your business. Oh, you have a lot of mangoes. You have a lot of cookies. You have a lot of merchandise. This is what you do. You have a warehouse full, whatever it is. Like, no. Those are bought on credit. I haven't paid for those yet. Whatever you need to say and explain to them, just because it's there, it's not fair or free for them to take. You have to be able to draw a line. So let's go over some of those do's and don'ts further on page 32. So, do pay yourself a livable salary each week, enough to cover living expenses. Get that? Just enough to cover living expenses. Do you live on a budget designed around the salary you pay yourself? Just because there's money coming in doesn't mean you should be living better. You got to be growing your business, but you still need to take care of basic day-to-day needs. Third bullet, do occasionally, maybe once a month, take home a little extra treat for the family so they will feel like the time invested in business is worth the sacrifice. Do involve the family in the creation of long-term goal of getting out of poverty. Tell them why they cannot take the money and products away from the business. Continue on with the don'ts. Don't let family members or customers take products without paying cash for them. They say they're going to come back. They say they're going to pay for them. And they probably had good intentions, but life is life. Things happen. Be so careful when you do something like that. Second bullet, don't leave your money unattended. Doing so will tempt family members or others to take it. Don't want to tempt them. Just keep it secure. Don't take your entire profit home each day, meaning put it in the bank, put it in a safe place, reinvest it in your business. So what changes must you make to ensure that your business and personal finances are separate? They're separate. Separate bank accounts, separate boxes, separate envelopes, separate budgets, separate everything. They're different entities. You start to mingle them together, you won't know which one's which, and you will run out of money. Now, further down on page 32, pay yourself a livable salary. This is really important. We talked about it briefly, but let's get into why this is so important. Clearly, the best way to take some money out of the business for personal use is to practice another rule of thumb. Pay yourself a livable salary. Be smart when deciding how much money you should pay yourself each day or week. Talk with your spouse to determine exactly what your needs are. And I would add to that your minimum needs. During your first weeks in business, pay close attention to how much profit you make each day. Remember that some of the profit may stay in the business so it can grow, and some of that profit must be your salary so you can provide for your family. As you discipline yourself by taking the same amount of money each day or week, your family will become disciplined on living the same amount. Becoming disciplined is part of the change you must make if you're going to move out of poverty toward prosperity. So think about it. How much salary do you need from the business? And you'll get used to it, just the minimum amount. And I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and when the family knows that a certain amount comes in every week, it's more comforting. They know, but you still are able to build your business. Remember what we've talked about before, a little delayed gratification. You want to spend a day at the beach or own a piece of the beach. Then let's go to the top of page 33. Okay, be nice later. I know y'all want to be nice, and you are nice, but if you're too nice, then you'll lose everything. So let's talk about being nice. An important area in which you need to learn discipline is dealing with relatives and friends who are seeing your improved financial situation. They start asking you for money and handouts. It might be just a few pesos here. It might just be a few pesos here and there, a small bag of food there, but it can lead to big problems in your business. Thus, you need to learn to be nice later. In other words, you need to learn to say no. You need to explain to your relatives and friends that you're trying hard to build your business so you can take better care of them later. Remember that if you will learn to say no to their small requests now, you can build your business and hopefully be able to give them much more, maybe even a job and their own chance of financial success in the future. So basically, what changes do you need to make to be nice later in your mindset and how you explain it to them? And just let them know you're not being mean, that it is. You're not loaning at this point money to anybody. That's just how it is. You got to help with their sob story. Do what you can to help. But you got to be very careful here because you could lose everything, lose your business if you do that. So continuing on, 33 there, buy low, sell high. Right? What does that mean? Well, to make money in any business, you must sell something for more than you paid for it. That's how business works. The difference between the cost you pay for an item and the price you charge is the markup. The bigger the markup, the more money you'll likely make. Two transactions are involved in every sale: the purchasing of the product by the business owner and the selling of the product to the customer. Buy low, sell high addresses both sides of the sales process. When you purchase raw materials at a low cost and then price your products well, the resulting cost savings and additional revenue go directly to the business bottom line and profitability. One of the ways to make sure that you are making money is to shop around and negotiate during the gathering stage. For example, Clarice, the owner of a small fruit stand, learned his lesson the hard way. She believed strongly in being loyal to her supplier from whom she had purchased fruit for many years. Clarice, that he had checked with several retail fruit stands, and they were all charging more than he was, and he was increasing his prices to a retail level. Clarice wanted to be loyal, continued to buy from the supplier, even though he charged so much. Because she paid more for the inventory, she could not charge enough markup to stay in business. She went out of business. So on your worksheet there, on page 33 there at the bottom, name 3 things Clarice could have done to continue to practice the rule of buying low and selling high. And the other question is, what changes must you make to practice allows buying low and selling high? And that's the key here. It's okay to use multiple suppliers. I know you want to be loyal, they're taking good care of you, but if they're raising the prices the wrong place and somebody can sell it at half the price, you can do both. You could test both. You could really see, but that's always good to have what's called multiple suppliers. So each buy and sell business has inventory to sell. Inventory that's either made by the business owner or employee or purchased from a supplier. All wise business owners search for multiple suppliers so they can bargain for low prices, take advantage of sales, and get things they need when they need them. If Clarice had always used at least 2 suppliers, she would have been able to negotiate better pricing. It's unfortunate that she had to go out of business to learn this valuable principle. Loyalty to suppliers is one thing, but loyalty to your own business and the potential it has to help your family is much more important. So how can you use multiple suppliers for your business? So again, it gives you leverage. You can negotiate. You have 2 or 3 suppliers. Well, they're at 10 cents, you're at 12 cents, and you're at 15%. So it gives you some leverage, some power to negotiate. And number 2, if one supplier goes out of business, you're not done. You don't have to search. You've tested different suppliers. And you'll notice that different suppliers have different ways to serve you, different lines of credit, different quality sometimes of product. So it's okay to shop around. So to continue on, we're on 34 here in the middle. Turn your inventory off. Turning your inventory often is a very powerful but often underappreciated law that provides huge blessings for someone who understands the rule and practices it faithfully. The combination of buying low, selling high, and turning your inventory often can make a lot of money for someone who understands the power this combination brings. Here's an example. If you buy a product for 100 pesos and you sell it for 300 pesos, you've earned 200 pesos. If you do that twice a day, your profit is 400 pesos. What if you could do that 5 times a day? You will make 1,000 pesos profit per day. So here's the key. Figure out how much profit you would like to make if you work 6 days and turn your inventory 5 times every day with the same rate of return as stated above. I mean, do the math. That's what you need to look. What do you want to earn? And do the math backwards. How much do you need to sell every day? Reverse engineer it. Go backwards. That can be a huge key to what you're able to do. All right, next one. We're still on 34. This is why it is so important to clear out products that are not selling well, that are taking up space on the shelf. If you can't sell a product, you can't receive money for a slow-moving product, nor use that money to buy fast-moving products. So it costs you money to have something sit on your shelf for a long time. Turning your inventory often requires that you gather wisely, enhance wisely, and market wisely so that the goods keep turning over and over. It also means that you must keep on track of when you buy each item of inventory so you can identify fast-moving and slow-moving products. So what changes you make to turn your inventory over, especially if it's inventory that could rot, expire, or it's not even selling, it's just sitting there, right? Focus on the fast-moving inventory. All right, then we're going to the bottom of 34 here. Buy on credit, sell for cash. Very important that you understand this concept. Let's use an example to explain this concept. Let's say you've established good business relationships with the supplier. You've paid cash for several products in the last few weeks, and you've become friends. Then let's say you expect an especially busy sales weekend and you feel you can turn more inventory than you have money for or money to purchase. In other words, you are sure you could sell more inventory if you only had more inventory. You ask your supplier to allow you to buy some inventory from him on credit, meaning you will receive the inventory today, but not pay him until it's agreed upon date in the future, some future date. He lets you buy your merchandise on credit and sell it for cash. You're basically using his money in the form of merchandise to make money yourself. You have bought and sold the product and made your profit before you had to pay for it. Did you catch that? Use other people's money to sell your product ahead of time before you had to pay for it, and once you've sold it, you can pay for it. It's a pretty good program. Let's continue. On the top of page 35, this is a great technique for building a business, using other people's money to your advantage. In order for it to work, you must find a supplier who trusts you enough to sell merchandise to you on credit. Keep your promises to the supplier who allows you to buy on credit and sell only for cash. Otherwise, you don't have the money to pay as promised. So do you have good enough relationships with your suppliers that you could begin buying on credit? How could you approach a supplier with the idea of buying on credit with a detailed plan? So be honest here. Maybe start slow, even if it's just 1 unit or 1 pound, whatever it is. You can start slow here and let them know you're going to be on time. They got to trust you. They got to learn to trust you that you are going to keep your word and always keep your word. Next one, same page. Don't eat your inventory. After graduating from the Academy for Creating Enterprise, Brian Villegas asked to stay at the Academy and work there as a custodian so he could have saved part of his salary to launch a small barbecue business. He not only worked as a janitor, but he also sold small candies to the students who were enrolled in the Academy. He had learned many of the rules of thumb that are contained in this lesson. However, he would teach us a new rule of thumb that has become one of the most popular ones. That's this one. One day we were leaving the academy, saw Brian with his cheeks all puffed up. He had a mouthful of something. Seems he had become discouraged because he had forgotten the importance of selling for cash, and some of the students were forgetting to pay. To make himself feel better, he stuffed his mouth full of his own candy. When he asked what he was eating, he simply said, "I'm eating my inventory." The next morning, he introduced the newest rule of thumb to our students: don't eat your inventory. Eating, giving it away, or letting others borrow your inventory are all ways to lose money. You could lose your business and your family future prosperity. Never let anyone take inventory without paying, not even you. So it might look good, you might be hungry, but this is your profit, this is your future, this is what you have to reinvest in your business. So let's go over some of those rules of thumb and pick probably the three is part of the homework that you are the most important to you right now in your business. So let's go through those right now. So you're starting small, thinking big. We'll talk about that. You have separate entities. You pay yourself a livable, reasonable salary. You can be nice later. Is it buy low, sell high? Is it using multiple suppliers? Is it turn your inventory often? Is it buy on credit, sell for cash? Don't eat your inventory. So that's on page 26. Which three are the most important for your business right now that you need to work on so you can get started right away? And then go to your final writing assignment. Based on what you've learned from this lesson, briefly define each rule of thumb you've learned and summarize why it's so important to apply each principle for your business. In the bottom of that same page, bottom line, the sooner you make the right business decisions, adopt the right practices, and consistently take appropriate actions, the sooner you provide more money to help your family with the necessities of life. Now, I know you want to be successful right away, yesterday, but slow is fast, a little bit at a time. Build it up, build it up, build it up. That's the key. That's the secret to success. Everyone's looking for that shortcut, want it done tomorrow, but a little bit of time. And there'll be failures along the way. Every successful entrepreneur has had failures. So you've had those in the past. Don't let those affect you. This is a new day. This is a new business. Just because you failed in the past does not make a failure. You've learned from that. You're growing from that. You're starting your business. And I know at times you'll be frustrated. And frustration comes from unmet expectations. You expected to be wealthy yesterday. I don't know when it will be for you, but you keep doing it. You follow the program. You make it work. Don't look for shortcuts. Just do a little bit at a time. That's always been the secret to success. Every successful person, entrepreneur, has the young person that comes to meet with them that's smarter than them. And they might be. They're going to do it differently. And they want to know the shortcuts. And they're like, well, there really is no shortcut. You kind of have to do this and this. They don't want to hear it because they want it now. Just a little bit of time. Slow is fast. In fact, let me share a story with you. So this young man, young woman, fall in love, right? Sparks are flying and decide to go out in the country and have a picnic, right? So we borrowed his father's, well, future father-in-law's, hopefully, car, and they drove out in the countryside, had a wonderful time, had a picnic, fallen in love, sparks are flying, and this young lady, she started to get these allergies, having a hard time breathing, and says, let's just drive back. It's about an hour drive back into town, and so the young man started to pack everything up and dumped out all the extra water, not thinking much of it, and they got in the car and started to drive away. But within a few minutes, this young lady's like, no, I need to take my medication. I didn't want to, but it's getting bad, and I just need to take it with a lot of water. And this young man, his heart sunk. He's like, thinking he's dumped out all the water. He didn't have any water. The town's about an hour away. So they're driving, and they passed this old farm. It looked abandoned. No one was there. So they drove up because they noticed when it was old-fashioned pumps. You've seen them. They still use them today. The ones they pump up and down, pump the water out. It was rusted. They could tell it hadn't been used in a while, but they needed water. So he pulled over, got a couple containers, started pumping. Right, he's going to save the day. Started pumping. 5 minutes had passed, and nothing happened. Another 5 minutes, nothing happened. Another 5 minutes, his muscles were really starting to ache. Another 5 minutes, and beads of perspiration on his forehead. He kept pumping. He's just about to give up. There's nothing there. And his girlfriend says, no, no, no. Don't give up. The water could be right there. Keep pumping. Do it for me. Now, if you know, guys, those are fighting words, right? So she kept pumping another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes without alarm, without any notice, without any fanfare. Cold, refreshing water came gushing out of that well. Filled up their buckets. She took a drink, took her medication, saved the day, and drove into town without incident. He had saved the day. Now, why do I tell you that? Because I don't know the day and the time when the waters of financial independence will come gushing out of that well. I don't know. I can't tell you. But I can promise you, you keep pumping even when it hurts. You keep pumping when other people are mocking you. You keep pumping when you can't see how close it is. You keep pumping. And someday, somehow, the waters of financial independence will come gushing out of that well. You just follow the program. Keep continuing to attend Success and Money Live courses. Take the other courses online. Keep referring your friends. And keep pumping. And the waters of financial independence someday, somehow, can come gushing out for you. Keep doing it, make it happen, become better, follow the program, improve your life, and let's go out and make the world a better place.
Thanks, Kurt. It's always wonderful to have Kurt to teach us these things. It's a wonderful book that Steve Gibson has created. And again, when you go into the money courses, the first 5 chapters are there. And so you're welcome to review those. All of you need a small business. I have lots and lots and lots of businesses. I have a job. I do the 5 steps. But in addition to that, I do other things. I add small businesses. I do investing. I do a lot of real estate. You need multiple streams of income to be able to make enough money and to be able to take advantage of inflation and other things. And remember, in your business, there's only 3 things you can really do. Everything's a subset of those 3 things. Number 1 is that you need to find more clients. You need to find more people that are buying your product. Now, this is where the vast majority of people just stop. They're just looking for more and more people. The second one is to get them to buy more often. Instead of just buying once a year or twice a year, how do you get them to buy once a month? Find something that they need that you can supply on a monthly basis. And then when they do buy, find a way to get them to spend more each time. And it has a massive multiplier effect if you'll do those 3 things. So every day in your business, you say, how do I get more customers? How do I get them to buy more every time they buy? And how do I get them to buy more often? What are the items that they need that we can supply for them to make that huge difference? So thank you so much, Kurt. We're going to say goodbye to our friends from around the world. We're going to be right back. We have Daryl Messina in the house. He's going to be talking about the 6 ways and the 6 things that make people rich. All right.